Hi, everyone. I'm Libby. Welcome back to Digital Wellness, where I discuss embodiment, creative coaching, and activating our unique powers as humans in relationship to the technology we are creating. So today I'm going to read an excerpt from this book, Food, Farmer, and Community, subhead Agriculture and the Reconstruction of the World. This is a compilation of quotations from the Bahá'í Faith, which is a religion that looks at the relationship of all the religions on the planet. Says the primary goal of religion is to create peace on earth. If we can't do that, better to not have religion at all. And it looks a lot, Baha'is work, it doesn't really matter if you identify as a Baha'i or not a Baha'i. The goal is not for people to all be the same. The goal is for this balancing on the planet of the spiritual side of life and the material side of life. And as I read this excerpt, I'm standing in my family home. So I just wanted to give a quick background of my introduction into environmentalism. So I'm taking this video from this house because you can't tell because there's no kids home right now, so it's pretty clean. But I grew up in a house with 11 siblings. And when you grow up in a giant freaking family in New York City, the way you look at stuff is just in numbers. I mean, there's like constantly 2 to 3 gallons of milk in the fridge. There's piles of meat, of food, of dishes at the end of the day. There's baskets of laundry. If you've ever seen Cheaper by the Dozen, you got a taste. So it wasn't until I was 22 and started traveling around the world that my understanding of the environment really started to grow. And I recognized that this extraordinary power that we tend to hold as humans is minuscule compared to the power of nature, and really began to desire a better rhetoric, a better way of talking about and engaging with nature. And I was also a fitness instructor, and I've been in this program this year around getting in touch with the body, allowing the body to speak, understanding emotion through the body. And as I started going through this, I began getting this recognition for myself in the parallel process of this internal body's intelligence with this larger world body's intelligence, and beginning to look at the world itself, the physical world itself, as a manifestation of higher consciousness in the same way our body is a manifestation of our internal consciousness. And as I was reading this book, which is about the empowerment of communities to transform the world that they are in, this passage, which kind of looks at the Baha'i perspective of nature, was this reiteration of what I've been trying to talk about. And so I just wanted to share this passage. It does use the word Baha'i, it uses the word God. I just invite, if those words don't resonate for you, to film a Baha'i as someone who is striving for the betterment of the world. And God in the Baha'i faith is framed as the unknowable essence, this spirit that is an animating force, in the same way that a child actually looks to a parent to help be raised. Our internal soul looks to this higher magnetic force, or internal magnetic force, depending on how you conceptualize it, to be raised up. So just a shift in perspective, just an invitation, really wanting to highlight in this passage what it could look like as a world if we were to really look at nature as something as sacred, as beautiful, as organic, as valuable as our human body. Obviously, that would also be in a world where we valued our human bodies more. So nature in its essence is the embodiment of my name, the maker, the creator. Its manifestations are diversified by varying causes, and in this diversity, there are signs for men of discernment. Nature is God's will and is its expression in and through the contingent world. It is a dispensation of providence ordained by the ordainer, the all-wise. So that's a quote. With those words, Baha'u'llah, the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith, outlines the essential relationship between man and the environment, that the grandeur and diversity of the natural world are purposeful reflections of the majesty and bounty of God, universe, divine essence. For Baha'is, there follows an implicit understanding that nature is to be respected and protected as a divine trust for which we are answerable. The major issues facing the environmental movement today hinge on this point. The problems of ocean pollution, the extinction of species, acid rain, and deforestation, not to mention the ultimate scourge of nuclear war, respect no boundaries. All require a transnational approach. While all religious traditions point to the kind of cooperation and harmony that will indeed be necessary to curb these threats, the religious writings of the Baha'i faith also contain an explicit prescription for the kind of new world political order that offers the only long-term solution to these problems. That which the Lord hath ordained as the sovereign remedy and mightiest instrument for the healing of the world is the union of all its people in one universal cause, Baha'u'llah wrote. Built around the idea of the world commonwealth of nations with an international parliament and executive to carry out its will, such a new political order must also, according to the Baha'i teachings, be based on principles of economic justice, equality between the races, equal rights for women and men, and universal education. All these points bear squarely on any attempt to protect the world's environment. The issue of economic justice is an example. In many regions of the world, the assault on rainforests and endangered species comes as the poor legitimately seeking a fair share of the world's wealth fell trees to create fields. They are unaware that over the long term, and as members of a world community, which they know little about, they may be irretrievably damaging rather than improving their children's chances for a better life. Any attempt to protect nature must therefore also address the fundamental inequities between the world's rich and poor. Likewise, the uplifting of women to fulfill equality with men can help the environmental cause by bringing a new spirit of feminine values into decision-making about natural resources. The scriptures of the Baha'i faith note that man has dominated over woman by reason of his more forceful and aggressive qualities, both of body and mind. But the balance is already shifting. Force is losing its dominance, and mental alertness, intuition, and the spiritual qualities of love and service in which women is strong are gaining ascendancy. Hence, the new age will be an age less masculine and more permeated with feminine ideals. Education, especially an education that emphasizes Baha'i principles of human interdependence, is another prerequisite for building of a global conservation consciousness. The faith's theology of unity and interdependence relates specifically to environmental issues. Again, to quote Baha'i sacred writings, by nature is meant those inherent properties and necessary relations derived from the realities of things. And these realities of things, though in the utmost diversity, are yet intimately connected with one with the other. Like in the world of existence to the temple of man, all the organs of the human body assist one another. Therefore, life continues. Likewise, among the parts of existence, there's a wonderful connection and interchange of forces, which is the cause of life of the world and the continuation of these countless phenomena. Baha'u'llah, for example, clearly addressed the need to protect animals. Look not upon the creatures of God except with the eyes of kindliness and of mercy, for our loving providence hath pervaded all created things, and our grace encompassed the earth and the heavens. God itself expressed a keen love and appreciation for nature, furthering the connection between the environment and the spiritual world in Baha'i theology. The country is the world of the soul. The city is the world of bodies, Baha'u'llah said. For Baha'is, the goal of existence is to carry forward an ever-advancing civilization. Such a civilization can only be built on an earth that can sustain itself. The Baha'i commitment to the environment is fundamental to our faith. Woo! That was written in 1987, the Baha'i Statement on Nature. So truly, regardless of whether you identify as a Baha'i or not, please go read the statement. Oh, what a gorgeous invitation. Many of the Baha'i writings are written like invitations, but what a gorgeous invitation to a way of life with nature that looks at the temple as the temple of the human body, looking at the way the organisms of the body work together. This is also how we can begin to relate to Earth, that we need to actually uplift the feminine and the feminine ways of leadership in this process. and that we actually can't do this without the restoring equilibrium in these extremes of wealth inequality on the earth, because we actually require the protection of human life here to steward nature. This book has so many other thoughts on nature and humankind, but for now, thank you for listening to this quote, and please let me know what resonated in the comments below.